Welcome friends to Sophira Fireplace, where stories leap like flames and questions spark like embers. Tonight, we gather close because one of you, yes you, sent us a question that set our minds dancing. Did the global south know God before Christianity and other religions arrived? We scratched our heads not because the answer wasn't there, but because we realized, how do you answer that without stepping into a river older than any church bell? So we went searching and researching. We wandered into dusty archives, sat with old storytellers, and even poked our noses into mints that wink back at you. Let us begin with a trickster story. Long ago, in a village where the moon dipped low enough to whisper to hearts, there lived Kaliba the clever one. Kaliba wasn't rich, wasn't strong, but had a tongue sharp enough to cut a yam in mid-air. One season, the rain refused to fall. The chief called for prayers to the sky father. Drums beat, songs rose, still the clouds held back. Kaliba, thinking himself smarter than the gods, climbed the sacred tree to negotiate. When he reached the top, he shouted into the heavens, "If you are really there, send rain now and I will bring you the fattest goat in the village." A wind rushed through the leaves, thunder rolled, and rain poured down like laughter. The people danced, but when it came time to give the goat, Kaliba vanished into the forest. The next day, lightning struck the very tree he had climbed. The elders said, "Oh, Kaliba learned that you don't bargain with what you do not know exists." See, even in this tale, the people already understood the divine, not from imported scriptures, but from living with a world that speaks, whether they called it Sky Father, Earth Mother, or Great Breath. The global south had long been in conversation with the sacred. Christianity and other religions were guests to a home that already had an altar. Global south religions were rich, organized, and philosophical. Before the spread of Christianity and other religions, regions of the global south, including Africa, Latin America, Asia, and the Pacific, were not religiously void or lost. Instead, they had deeply spiritual and coherent systems that included creation myths and cosmologies, moral codes, rituals and ceremonies, sacred texts, or oral traditions. Before the missionaries came, before Bibles were printed in Uganda, Swahili, or Zulu, before cathedrals rose over ancestral hills, and before the cross replaced the drum, the people of the global south already asked, where did we come from? Who shaped the earth? What lies beyond the stars? These weren't empty lands of godlessness. These were landscapes saturated with story, rhythmic with ritual, and charged with spirit. Today, we ask a provocative question. Was the global south truly and completely pagan before other religions came? To answer this, we travel through myths, through Genesis, through the Baganda hills, across Mayan temples, and into the dusty homesteads of the Yoruba. Let's begin with Genesis, the biblical book of beginnings. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. The earth was without form and void, and darkness was over the face of the deep. And God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. A divine word, a separation of light and darkness, land from sea, man from dust, woman from rib, a garden, a serpent, a fall. Now, shift your ears to the red soils and banana plantations of Uganda. Baganda creation story. In the beginning there was Ggulu, the great god who lived in the skies, and then there was Kintu. a humble man who lived on earth alone, his only companion a cow. One day, Ggulu's daughter, Nambi, descended from the heavens, fell in love with Kintu and brought him up to meet her father. Ggulu tested Kintu with impossible tasks, from splitting stone to fetching water in the basket. Kintu passed. He married Nambi. They returned to earth with a warning: leave quickly and do not return. Above all, do not let Walumbe, the spirit of death, follow you. But because of curiosity, pride and weakness, Nambi went back for the millet she forgot, and Walumbe followed. From that day, death entered the world. If that sounds familiar, it should. A divine realm, a forbidden return, a fatal mistake, and the introduction of death and suffering into the human world by a woman. Sounds like Adam and Eve? It's not plagiarism, it's not copycat stalling, it's ancestral memory, it is spiritual intuition, and it's not unique. Now, let us take a flight to Yoruba land in West Africa. There, the creator god Olomudale sends Obatala to create the earth from the formless waters below. With a chain from heaven and a sacred snail shell filled with soil, Obatala sprinkles land. He shapes human from clay, but he drinks palm wine and creates flawed, disabled bodies. So he swears off drink and creation continues. Flawed creation, clay bodies, breath of life. Doesn't that echo the story of God breathing into dust to create Adam? All southward to the Khoisan of South Africa. In their beginning, people and animals lived underground with Kang, the supreme being. One day, he brought them to surface, but he warned, do not build fire, it will bring destruction. But humans disobeyed, fire came, and death entered the world. All to the Andes, where the Inca told of Viracocha, the great creator, who emerged from the lake and shaped the sun, the moon, stars, and the first humans. But they turned wicked, so he destroyed them in a great flood. Then he created anew. Does that sound like Noah? So, were these people pagan? If pagan means without spirit, without truth, and without God, then no. These were not pagan. These were story keepers, earth heroes, dream walkers. The Baganda, like the Hebrew, wrestled with mortality, disobedience, and cosmic order. The Yoruba, like the Greeks and Israelites, pondered the meaning of flow, fate, and form. And the Inca, like Mesopotamians, feared floods and divine judgment. What we see, ladies and gentlemen, in these stories isn't evidence of a blank slate awaiting missionary ink. What we see is that the global south already heard the sacred voice, just in a different tongue. These weren't vague superstitions, as colonial voices once called them. These were structured, complex, and often philosophical systems with rituals, sacred spaces, moral codes, and oral theologies passed down through generations. In other words, the global south didn't meet God when new religions arrived. They simply met new names for the divine they already knew. So, when you ask, did the global south know God before Christianity and other religions arrived? The answer is yes. The divine was already here, wearing local names, speaking local tongues, walking in local forests, and answering to local prayers. So perhaps the right question is not were they pagan, but what did they already know of the divine before everyone arrived with a book? Until then, listen to stories the land still tells.